Sonic the Hedgehog is one of the most iconic video game characters of all time. Something that I've always loved about Sonic is his uniqueness compared to other platformer mascots like Mario, Crash, or Mega Man. One of the biggest ways he stands out compared to those characters is his bursting personality. Whether confident, cocky, or caring, Sonic always wears his personality on his sleeve. And one of the many ways that he shows his personality is by running his mouth. Whether he's cracking jokes, taunting enemies, or giving motivational speeches, Sonic has always been running his mouth ever since he got the chance to. And a lot of the time, he truly has had some great iconic lines and moments that will forever go down in series history. But then there are times where you wish that he would just... Sonic has had games where he has had great dialogue and others where he has not so great dialogue. But no matter what, Sonic typically has at least one or two lines in every Sonic game that are pretty goofy, and that's what we're going to talk about today. We are going to be finding out what are the worst Sonic quotes from every game where he talks. So pretty much every game after Adventure, because this dude doesn't talk very often.
I'm out of here!
And also, we're only going to be discussing Sonic lines today. So sorry to all the Shadow fans, but lines like
"Disgusting black creatures, get out of my sight"
will have to wait another day. So with all that being said, I hope you bought some earplugs. Sonic Adventure was not as bad as I thought it was going to be, considering that the game, at least when it comes to story and cutscenes, has a bit of a goofy and jank reputation. And don't get me wrong, it is, but most of it comes from the weirdly stiff animation and awkward timing of the cutscenes. But when it comes to specific lines themselves, they aren't that bad, or at least not as bad as I remember. But there are definitely a few stinkers. Of course, there is the infamous first line of the game.
Oh yeah! This is happening!
And honestly, I personally think that is not that bad. I mean, the line in itself is made to show Sonic's iconic too cool for school attitude, and this line does show that very well, but it has also made for great meme material because of its corny delivery and super generic meaning. But in my opinion, the worst line in this game is easily,
"Watch out! You're gonna crash! Ah!"
You see, the English cutscenes of Sonic Adventure are translated and interpreted from Japanese. And it seems like whoever directed the English voice actors took a pretty direct translation approach in a few areas, which led to moments like this. That's why it ends up being so goofy, because this is a direct Japanese translation that definitely should have been tweaked. So I'm gonna give this line a 6.5 out of 10. It's a little awkward, but there is definitely worse lines out there. Sonic Adventure 2 also isn't all that bad when it comes to direct quotes for the most part. In fact, SA2 actually gives us some of Sonic's most iconic lines in the franchise. However, there are still a few lines that to me are a little questionable. Like when Sonic talks to Shadow before their epic fight at Space Colony Arc, Shadow tells Sonic how shocked he is to see him alive, and Sonic responds,
"You know, what can I say? I die hard."
Which I think is such a weird thing for him to say in this moment. Like, at least the Die Hard movies were a good bit relevant at the time, but this is like one of the only times that Game Sonic pretty much directly mentions a real life piece of media. And like, even if the Die Hard movies existed in Sonic's reality, why reference that to Shadow? The man has been frozen in time for 50 years. I don't think he knows what a Die Hard is. This feels like much more of a line that movie Sonic would say with all the references that he makes, but not Game Sonic. And I don't hear many people talk about this line, but it always seemed pretty weird to me personally. But the truly bad and memorable stuff in this game doesn't really come from the lines themselves, but from another issue that is mostly unique to this game alone. You see, similar to SA1, SA2 is a Japanese story that got translated to English. But this time around, they ran into a completely different problem. They ran into the problem of cutscenes going too fast, because for some of the lines, it takes the English voice actors longer to read lines than their Japanese counterparts. And the result of that is characters constantly interrupting each other. And for Sonic, one of the most infamous is before his first fight with Shadow, where in the middle of Shadow speaking, Sonic interrupts him saying,
"You're not even good enough to be
I'll
my
make you
friend."
eat those words!
Like, Sonic, did you at least let the man finish his words before he can eat them? But the best example of this, and in my opinion, the best or worst sequence in the whole game, is the spaceship cutscene. And I'm gonna just let it play in its entirety for y'all.
What the?
Is everyone alright? We should be landing soon.
The hatch doors are
Don't
open.
sweat it, Knuckles. The only thing in the cargo bay are those
What do you
Master
mean, don't
Emeralds.
sweat it?
Right?
Land the
Knock
shuttle
it
and
off,
let me
Knuckles.
out.
We're gonna crash this thing if you keep that up. Oh no! Don't touch that lever! Whoa!
This is just beautifully awful. The interruptions between Sonic and Knuckles, and the fact that Sonic just doesn't care about the Master Emerald shards getting lost is insane. This is possibly one of the worst but also funniest cutscenes in series history. And honestly, I'm gonna give this a 10 out of 10 here. It is just perfectly awful. Not gonna lie, despite its fair share of cheesy lines, I was struggling really finding anything for Sonic Heroes, but I still managed to find 3 Sonic lines that I want to talk about. First, when Team Sonic confronts Team Dark, before fighting, Sonic and Shadow have this exchange.
Sensors locked on Eggman. Non-compliant intruders will be destroyed.
Didn't you know? We have a date with Eggman too.
Is that so? Well then, it'll be a date to die for.
Hey, that's my line.
First of all, and second, Sonic, that is definitely not your line. You aren't the dark emo edgelord that Shadow is. Like, who do you think you are? Then I found this line at the end of the game after you defeat Metal Overlord, where Sonic says,
Too bad it's all over. For you!
Which isn't really bad on its own, it's just that that pause makes it feel like Sonic was trying to super hot fire roast.
For you!
But easily the worst quote and most infamous line is,
It's no use, but why can't I defeat you?
Because we're Sonic Heroes.
like, I know this nigga didn't just drop the title of the game with his own name in it. This is so unbelievably narcissistic. So I'm gonna give this one a 7 out of 10. Sonic doesn't say or do all too much in this game, at least compared to other games, because, yeah. Instead, he's mostly treated as a side character, so he doesn't really have a lot of memorable lines in this game at all, good or bad. But there is one infamous quote that Sonic says in this game, being,
We're on our way to the Ark, so I guess that means we're going too.
wait a minute, run that back?
We're on our way to the Ark, so I guess that means we're going too.
You know what? That makes a lot of sense. If Sonic and Shadow are on their way to the Ark, then I guess it would make sense to think that they would be going to the Ark as well. I mean, truly groundbreaking stuff here, Sonic. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, this one gets a 4 out of 10. Just a script oversight.
No.
Nah, I'm kidding. What can I say about Sonic 06 that hasn't been said multiple times already? It's an infamous disaster for multiple reasons. But although the story itself is kind of a mess, Sonic mostly shies away from bad quotes. Mostly. To me personally, I find all the times that Sonic tells Elise to
Smile. Elise. Smile. Your smile. That's all I need.
just feels like a lazy way to try to give Sonic and Elise a connection, and is one of the main reasons why their relationship fails so much. Everything about them feels forced, and one of the most infamous moments between these two, I said one of,
Go on, thought!
is when Sonic gives Elise advice after she trauma dumped on him and tells her,
Nothing starts until you take action. If you have time to worry, then run.
What the f does that mean, Kobe Bryant?
You're welcome.
What the f is he talking about?
like, are you saying that she should run away from her problems? Or do you mean that literally, like, whenever she's thinking about her problems, she should go for a jog or something? It's terrible advice either way. Easy 7 out of 10 for this one. Now it's time for Sonic and the Secret Rings, and there honestly isn't much to talk about. Sonic is just his standard self in this one and doesn't really say any big questionable lines. The only thing that I can get on this game for is the ending where Sonic wishes for,
I wish for a mountain of handkerchiefs. Now, just let yourself cry. As much as you need to. You'll have plenty of handkerchiefs to help you through it.
It seems like they tried to end this on a symbolic, profound note, but instead it's just stupid. I don't know. It's a 4 out of 10 for me. Not gonna lie, I don't got anything for this game. There isn't any line worthy of talking about. So, 0 out of 10, I guess. Honestly, I didn't think I was gonna find anything here either. This game is praised for having one of the best characterization that Sonic has ever had, and I gotta agree. But there was one line that I found a little awkward. Around the beginning of the story, Melina is telling Sonic about how King Arthur gained immortality through Excalibur and how he's using the underworld to plunge his kingdom into darkness. And Sonic responds,
You mean like a big old haunted house? Haha, this'll be cool! It'll be like Halloween all year long!
like, did he just really compare someone summoning literal demons from the underworld to a Halloween party? And the delivery of this line just feels so out of place. Also, not a bad quote, but during his fight with Sir Lancelot, Sonic says,
Ouch! Unnecessary roughness!
and I just find it interesting whenever Sonic makes an American football reference because it doesn't seem to happen very often. Anyway, the haunted house thing is a 3 out of 10. Compared to the last 2 games, finding bad quotes for Sonic Colors was way easier. This game was the start of the quote-unquote meta era of the Sonic series. And Sonic's dialogue went from delightfully cheesy to painfully cringy. So yeah, there are a lot of lines from this game that I could talk about, but just to mention a few of them. First, after defeating the Sweet Mountain boss, Captain Jelly, okay. Sonic tells why did I write that in the script? Sonic says to Tails,
You missed the BBBE. Huh? Best boss beating ever.
First off, why are you even making up an acronym that spells nothing at all? Also, why does Sonic call him a boss like he knows he's in a video game or something? It's not even like he needed to say that to make the acronym work because he could have just as well used Batnik. Like, that's how you know the writers didn't give a piss about the script. Another bad line or lines comes before Sonic fights Admiral Gilly? The fuck? He just blabbers on and on about serving him up a clobbering.
Hey, did somebody here order a clobbering? Are you sure? It says somebody ordered an extra large clobbering topped with everything.
While the whole time, the ship just looks at him like it couldn't possibly give less of a damn. Like, he for real looking at him like,
Really, nigga?
Also, fun fact, Roger Craig Smith actually used to do voiceovers for the Pizza Hut commercials, and this was his first game voice acting Sonic. So, it's pretty cool this was a reference and everything, but it's still pretty bad. Finally, of course, we can't forget about the infamous,
No copyright law in the universe is going to stop me!
For me personally, I don't really think this line is all that bad. It just feels like a really basic action hero line that Sonic delivers awkwardly for the situation. It's a little cringy and random, but it does kind of sound like something that Sonic could say. It's not entirely off in my opinion. So honestly, I think that the clobber sequence is still worse. And for me, that gets a 8 out of 10. Sonic Generations story doesn't have a lot going on in it, like, at all. It's probably the most basic script in the history of the series, so the only thing to discuss is the infamous,
Hey Sonic! Enjoy your future! It's gonna be great!
yeah, on its own, it's a perfectly fine line, but considering the fact that the series starts going downhill almost immediately after Generations for about a decade is what makes this hilarious. A solid 4 out of 10 for this one. Sonic Lost World story is another product of the meta era, but there aren't as many bad lines as there are in other meta era games, but it definitely has its fair share. First up, we have,
That was cool. Pun entirely intended.
yeah, I don't even think I need to say anything here. Moving on. The worst line in this game is easily,
I'm supposed to be the fastest, but I was too slow to save my buddy.
Better luck next time, fuckboy.
yeah, this line is just pathetic and feels so forced. Like, who the hell points out what are their defining traits during an emotional moment? It's just so unnatural. I'm gonna give this one a 6.5 out of 10. Better get comfortable with this one because there's a lot to talk about. Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric is a little bit different when it comes to story because alongside the normal cutscenes of this game, there are also cutscenes and story-based dialogue that occurs during gameplay. Some of the regular cutscenes in this game has its fair share of comedic moments like the show. For example,
I'm slipping! I've got you! I can't hold on much longer! This is not how it ends for you! Thanks. Get out!
And honestly, I'd be lying if I didn't say that these were some of my favorite moments through the whole game. But then there's this one moment that happens that I thought was very weird. And it's where Sonic goes, "This is just off." I mean, what was the point of that slow-mo? It seems like they might have initially had Sonic almost say a no-no word. Parents, if you don't know what it is, ask your kids. But then Sega came in and told them that they couldn't do it, so we got left with this. Also, there's something that I kind of forgot about this game. Sonic's kind of a dick. Like, I know it can be annoying and snarky at times, but here, he's just a douche sometimes for no reason. Like in these lines during gameplay.
That was incredible! Did you see us in action?
Yeah, you guys were a great supporting cast, thanks.
What?
I think we all contributed.
Oh, sure. I'm just saying I probably contributed a bit more.
Unbelievable.
Yes, I was, thank you.
Like, bros is trying to start something for no reason. Speaking of lines during gameplay, sometimes they can be relatively natural and make the stages feel more lively and interactive. But most of the time, you just get this.
Look, ramps!
We can use these as ramps.
Fuck you, Tim.
And this gets pretty annoying almost immediately. But wait, there's more, because each character has their own set of unnecessarily repeated lines that they say throughout the entire game. Here's some of my favorites from Sonic.
Up and over! Up and over! Time to rev the engine! Time to rev the engine! Can never grab too many rings! Can never grab too many rings! I love these boost rings! I love these boost rings! Take me someplace cool! Take me someplace cool!
But with all that, which one of these quotes is the worst? It's tough, but I think I'm gonna have to go with the "oh shoot" line, because to me, that perfectly highlights how bizarre this game can get with its writing and story. But overall, I actually find a lot of these bad lines really charming and what makes Sonic Boom unique. But I'm still giving this one an 8 out of 10.
Green Hill's looking a lot more like Sand Hill right now.
And some people question why so many people hate Forces. When it comes to the tone of the story and script, Sonic Forces is just like its meta-era brethren. What makes it so much worse is the fact that this tone is mixed with a very serious plot of Eggman taking over the world, leaving the tone and story to feel completely disjointed. The result is a story that wants to be dark and serious but never fully commits, making it hard to take anything seriously. But in terms of just direct quotes, there isn't a lot of terrible, just a painful amount of mid. One of the more infamous quotes, how many times have I said infamous in this video, is,
It's been generations since I seen you. You okay?
you get it? I guess you could say that was a forced reference. In my opinion, the worst line by far is just before the last fight against Infinite.
What would you like your epitaph to read? How about, "Here lies the Blue Buffoon"?
Why not? Here dozes the masked clown. Might as well make it for the person who needs one, right?
I actively remember hitting the fattest cringe hearing this for the first time as a 10-year-old. It's not only probably the worst comeback Sonic has said in the entirety of the series, but the sheer lack of confidence while Sonic says it is hilariously bad. It almost pisses me off that he ends up winning this fight after this. This one earns an easy 9 out of 10. Honestly, with Sonic Frontiers, despite there being a lot of cusses and interactions with characters, there aren't really any outright terrible lines in it. But there is something here that I find annoying. It's where Sonic unnecessarily mentions fourth wall breaking game mechanics. You know what I'm talking about, that Ian Flynn-ass writing. Sometimes it's somewhat appropriate, like when Sonic is trying to remind Tails of the great things he's done, or when Sage is reminding Eggman of what a good team he and Sonic can make. But then there are just times where it comes out of nowhere, not only in cutscenes.
I'll be back before you can do a fortune card reading. See ya!
What is your end goal?
It varies. Sometimes it's a spinning sign, sometimes it's a big old ring.
But Sonic also has lines that he will just say at random, and a lot of them are just unnecessary callbacks to past stages and locations.
So many balloons. Maybe they drifted in from Spagonia. Brings back memories of Rail Canyon. Red Mountain had a view like this too. I'm getting flashbacks of Lava Reef. What a view! Makes me think of the falls and Mystic Ruins.
Like, one or two of these would have been cool, but all of that is just unnecessary. Overall, I feel like this deserves a 5 out of 10. And that's all of them, or at least the ones that I find interesting. If I miss any other notably bad Sonic quote, or if y'all want me to do the other characters, please let me know in the comments down below. But with all that being said, thank you for giving me some of your time. I'm KJ Cool, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one.